Hello, friends. Hope this Friday is treating you very, very well. You'll notice I'm in black and white because I just am. This is just trying different things. I like the look of this, so we're gonna see how it goes. I'm using OBS to record this, and I think that it's much better than, I don't know, with color it just looks weird. I don't know why. I'm using my iPhone to record. It just, I don't know, something about the black and white works, but something about pretty much anything with color doesn't. It looks fucking terrible. You can probably, I don't want to mess with any setting. I would show you, but I don't want to mess anything up. Okay, so I want to talk about, I'm going to try, it's not a promise by any means, because I literally go on vacation next week. So the chances of me actually putting together a video are like slim to none. But I'm going to try to put out a video a week, whether that's on Friday, whether that's not, I don't know. They're mostly just going to be me talking to the camera like this, and then maybe going through my letterbox. I really want to do a searching shutter soon, so that'll happen eventually. I know framing of this makes me look real short. Do I need to adjust this? I'm just gonna sit taller. Sit taller? I feel awkward. Oh well. Okay, so originally I was going to then talk about do another franchise chat, another ranking, because I really enjoy doing the Scream one, and I have several that I need to do, but I just didn't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do instead, I have had a obsession recently with Kung Fu movies. Yes, Kung Fu movies. So I wanted to go over some of the Kung Fu films that I've seen recently that I quite enjoyed, potentially give you some recommendations. Most likely it's just going to be, if you actually know any of these films, you'll just be like, oh, you didn't see that, you hadn't seen that, but which totally fair. I agree with you, unfortunately. So I essentially began my journey with Police Story. I did this because, oh wait, I don't have my thing up. There we go, Police Story. So I did this because Edgar Wright had made a recommendation to watch it, and Edgar Wright he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and every time he makes a recommendation, it turns out good. I watched Raising Cain because of his recommendation, and I'm not a De Palma fan, but I really, really, really enjoyed it. And it's not a great movie, but it's enjoyable. Anytime I see that Edgar Wright has recommended something, I'm gonna be watching it. And honestly, Police Story is just really, really good. It's not as good as I was hoping it would be, because I mean, that's just kind of expected, I guess, at a certain point, because once something gets hyped up so much, it's never going to be as good as you're hoping. But I still really, really enjoyed it. Like 3.5 stars. That's amazing. So I can't really, it's not like that's some really bad thing that only gave it 3.5 stars. I think the biggest problem is that the tone is all over the place. There's these really, really cool action scenes, and then there will be like this random comedy out of nowhere that just doesn't fit, which they fix in the second one, which I'm going to pull up because I watched that a few days later, which, by the way, I don't know what is going on with HBO Max, because they went from not having Police Story 2, even though they said they had it. When I searched for it, it wasn't showing up. So then this was a couple days later, and finally watched Police Story 2. I actually liked it more, because I think it just leans into the comedy more so then it doesn't feel nearly as like tonally imbalanced. But either way, both of these movies are now going to be part of my regular rotation. I really enjoyed them, and Criterion has a pretty awesome Blu-ray of them that I'm probably going to pick up soon, because it just looks really, 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 really cool. Matter of fact, yeah, look at this. Like, come on, it's beautiful. Plus, I mean, both the films for $25, can't really beat that. I will absolutely be purchasing. Oh, although look, light change. If you don't have honey, this video is not sponsored, so I don't really care, and I'm not going to tell you about honey. Okay, Police Story 2, really, really, I think I liked it more than the first one, but again, I think that those are going to be regular parts of my rotation where I probably enjoy them even more so than this first viewing. I've been doing this Kung Fu rewatch with my roommate, because he has already seen several of these films, most of these films. I think the Police Story movies are the only ones that I haven't, that he hadn't seen before. So because of that, we went off of some of his recommendations as well, and he was a big fan of Legend of the Drunken Master, and so I needed to watch both that and its sequel, and its prequel, I should say, because I didn't realize that that was the sequel. There was a one from 78 that I ended up enjoying more than the one from the 90s. And I think the reason that I enjoyed this one so much is because you can see just how sloppy Jackie Chan is. He's not nearly as good as he ends up being later on in life. Even in Police Story, his kung fu and stunt work just goes up to 11. But here, you can see him going through the steps, and it's like, okay, position 1, position 2, position, like, it's very much choreographed to the point of absurd noticeability. I'm glad to see that, because it's cool that then he's not just always the pristine martial artist that we know him as. I like seeing that growth, because I've only ever seen Jackie Chan as a fucking badass. So the fact that here he gets to go, he has somewhere to go, because it's not his kung fu work is not fantastic here in any way. In terms of Legend of the Drunken Master, I gave it the same review as Drunken Master, but I like Drunken Master more. These are probably things that I'm gonna have to watch again down the road, but regardless, these are still very, very enjoyable movies. Then, oh yeah, I didn't post it on here because I didn't need to, because I don't. My Letterboxd, if you follow me on Letterboxd, which if you don't, I highly recommend you do. I love Letterboxd. It's pretty much one of the only bits of social media I'm still on these days. And I don't know, I try and put, I think, every new film that I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 years, I have logged on Letterboxd. So it's really cool. Oh, I didn't give that a rating because I was under an embargo, so I can finally rate that. If you don't have Letterboxd, I definitely recommend checking it out, because Letterboxd is the best social media out there if you are a movie fan. I don't put my rewatches on there very often unless I have something that I legitimately have to say, and so I didn't put my Kung Fu Hustle rewatch, but I did that, which then brought about Shaolin Soccer, which I had never seen before. Never seen this movie. Absolutely loved it. I think that this pretty much confirms that I just need to watch all of Stephen Chow's stuff, because, dear God, the man is just so good. I don't think there's a single movie of his that I've not enjoyed. I seem to really just gel with his weird style, and this one in particular was just phenomenal. I probably need to be watching Journey of the West soon. Yeah, then the major series that got into, which still have one more to go through, and that would be Ip Man. I saw the original Ip Man like way back in the day, but I didn't remember it at all and didn't even log it on here. I think it's a really good movie. It has some, I don't know, down moments. Like it's definitely not perfect in any way. As a film, it like just feels all over the place, but I like the story that's being told. It wasn't executed great, and then the execution just like gets thrown out the window in that final, I want to say like 5 minutes. Oh, it brings the whole movie down. I was throughout most of it, I was like, oh, this is probably a 4-star movie. I really enjoyed it. And then it just dropped off completely with that ending, which obviously it's based on real life, so real life isn't always have perfectly dramatic arcs, and it just doesn't work though in any way. But yeah, Ip Man 2, thankfully this one is fucking awesome. Like, this movie is really, really cool. 3.5 stars from me. I thought it was, I have a feeling this is going to be my favorite of the series, because it's not based on actual real life. It's a dramatized event where he's fighting some British boxer, and it's absurd. And this movie too that introduced me to Sammo Hung, which Sammo Hung is just a man. I really, really, really enjoyed him in this film. Which also I haven't mentioned Donnie Yen, even though he's the main person in Ip Man, and he rocks it. I've only ever known Donnie Yen from Rogue One, like Mulan. Like he'll pop up in American things every now and then, but otherwise, I just am not. I don't know him. So this has been really cool to see him do his thing because he's really, really, really good. Unfortunately, because I thought that they were really on a upward trend with these movies, but then kind of goes down again with Ip Man 3. I don't know. The characters are very weak compared to some in the past. And then they add like Mike Tyson is the big bad guy, and he's just Mike Tyson. He doesn't come across as anything other than someone who's struggling through his lines. I wasn't able to finish the series yet. I will probably this weekend with Ip Man 4. I don't have any intention to watch whatever side one with, like, was it Ip Man Awakening or something? Master Ip Man, The Awakening. Yeah, I don't have any desire to watch that, but I really, really have been enjoying watching these different Kung Fu movies. I still need to move on to, well, I should just say Hong Kong action movies. I've really been enjoying them. I'm probably going to move on to John Woo and like watch The Killer and Hard Boiled, stuff like that soon. But I still have plenty of Jackie Chan to go through as well, like Prisoner and I think what other stuff. I know that there's several. Yeah, really, really enjoyed the Hong Kong action films that I've seen so far. I'm hoping to add to that list. This was a little bit different. Usually I don't cover stuff like this, but this is what I'm going to do on this channel now. I'm just going to talk about things that I want to talk about. Hopefully you're along for the ride, because it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be dumb stuff. So hopefully you like the dumb stuff that I talk about. That's probably my neighbor. That wasn't to you. Thumbs up to you. See ya.